Hello folks, this is Johnny again. Now please forgive me for being unshaved. I'm having a tired day again. I think I should go see a doctor about this. I've been really unusually tired for a few weeks now. But at least I got a haircut. So today I really just want to talk about two questions that came up. Questions that are very good subjects to talk about. So first one is, first of all, your channel is truly a blessing to the bedroom guitarist scene. Thank you so much for that. Here's a question about mixing. How do you go about mixing big, rich arrangements with lots of ambient, clean tones, reverb, and patty stuff going on? I get decent results when mixing only rhythm guitar, bass, and drums and try to make it sound fat, loud, and in your face. But as soon as I try to create a big sounding, rich arrangement, it starts to get really messy and blurry. Well, first of all, thank you for the kind words. You don't know how motivating it actually is to get such a positive feedback. Because I'll be honest, I don't make anything with my YouTube channel. Every couple of months I get like $70. So the only motivation really for me to make these videos is to help out the bedroom producers, people like me and who are still struggling to get the production they want. I think I'm kind of at a place where I am getting what I want, what I'm hearing in my head, and I just want to pass on experience. And then getting positive feedback like that really feels great. Thank you so much. Now to your question, how to go about big arrangements. I have to be honest, that would also be still a little bit challenging for me. Just with, big arrangements. As you say, it can get very blurry and messy, and it can be quite a struggle to deal with that. But two things come to mind. For one, watch out for the low mid-range, because especially with a lot of synth pad and a lot of reverb, that area can get quite troublesome. You just have to think, what about a pad sound or what about a reverb is it that really adds to the space, that really adds to the mix and to the feel of a song? When we talk in terms of frequency, that's rather the upper mid-range, where our hearing is also most sensitive. So that whole lower mid-range and the low end can rather just mess things up. It doesn't add to the vibe you may want to achieve with such kinds of tones. So that's the first thing I would really watch out. EQ the things, the reverbs and the synth pads accordingly. Perhaps filter them quite a bit more, and then also add some EQ to take down the lower mid-range between 300 and 500 Hertz so that doesn't mess up. I would rather leave that kind of lower range to the guitars so they can keep their girth in there and their definition. And then the upper mid-range would make those a little bit more pronounced on the reverb and on the synth pad. Note that I'm mostly talking about the reverb, not the clean guitar tracks you put it on. Because the clean guitar tracks, when you take down too much lower mids on those, then you also lose a little bit of body and note definition. You don't really want to do that. It's rather the reverb that just blurs that lower range that's really messing things up. So you want to focus, attach more on that when you want to clean things up. Of course, when you're also working with vocals, you need to work around the vocals again. You don't want to push the vocals back with all the reverb and synth and other stuff that's going on. So that's the first thing. Watch out for the low mid-range. Second thing is, of course, volume balance. When I'm hearing the word big arrangement, I'm imagining a lot of tracks. Perhaps right now I'm thinking about rhythm guitars, additional guitar layers, synthesizers, I don't like that word, synthesizers, and vocals. Okay, let's say you're doing instrumental, not vocals. Let's take the vocals out. We just got the rhythm guitars, the additional guitar layers and synthesizers. When you have a lot of tracks, I would not do the volume balance track by track. Okay, when I think about the process, okay, I have my drums and my bass. Those are building my foundation. Okay, now I fade in the rhythm guitars and they're good, everything is well. Then I fade in each additional track I have to fade in louder and louder to make it noticeable and stand out a little bit and add something to the mix on top of everything that's coming beforehand. And that can end up in a big mess. So instead of going track by track really, I would rather go instrument section by instrument section. So I have my rhythm guitars, I have my guitar layers, and I have my synthesizers. And what I would do is first I go, for example, let's take just all the synthesizers, let's solo all the synthesizers and do the volume balance within that section. Okay, decide what synth sound you just want to add as an underlying ambient vibe, and what synth sound do you rather want to have as kind of more leadish melody. Okay, and then already work on the volume balance there. And then you do the same thing for the extra guitar layers. And now what I would do is I basically just have 3 faders. I have my rhythm guitars, my guitar layers, and my synthesizers. And you fade those together to balance it out. And once you have that done, then you can start thinking about finer details. Okay, perhaps there's one guitar track I like to poke out a little bit more, so raise that up a little bit more, perhaps give it a bit more EQ in the upper mid-range to make it a bit more present, or also the same thing for synthesizers. Perhaps there's one synthesizer you want to have a bit more present, then you can take that up a little bit more. But bottom line, you really need to figure out what do you want to add to the full arrangement in what way. For example, right now I'm thinking about some of my older mixes, like in Chronicles and Reflection. I always try to make each guitar track present in the same way. They should all have the same level of presence in the full arrangement. And of course the vocals come in, they should also have the same level of presence. And that's just the wrong way to go about it, because in the end the listener will not know what to listen to, what to focus on, because there's just too much going on at the same time. Rather, you need to make compromises. Figure out what should just add an underlying ambient vibe and what should actually be up front. Okay, what is foreground, what is background? Don't put everything up front, that just doesn't work. So I went a little bit elaborate on that, I think. Let me try to wrap this up again. So first of all, watch out for your lower mid-range. EQ that down a little bit on the reverbs and on the synth pads, and also filter the low end. You don't want the low end to get all mushy. You want to keep that for kick and bass, and the lower mids for the rhythm guitars. And then what's most apparent about the reverb and synth sounds is the upper mid-range. And once you have a basic setup for your EQs, I would start off with basic EQing, and then I can do the volume balance. Again, don't go track by track, rather go section by section. And once that is done and you have that in a good place, then you can go into more details about the EQ and then into more details about volume. You may also want to do volume automation a little bit throughout sections. So yeah, I hope that helps. Now, second question. Because of you, I bought TH3. Now, can you share some presets? No. See, what I rather want to do is I want to teach people to do the stuff themselves. And just sharing the presets like that will kind of defeat the purpose. I rather want to encourage people to use their stuff, use your gear, use your software, learn to use it, get to know it. I know it takes time and effort, and you will go through a lot of frustrations. And that's just the process of learning music production. 90% of what I learned is through trial and error. Really, pure knowledge you get through tutorials is so little. You still have to try all these techniques you learn from videos for yourself and see how it works for you. And I could go into such a big rant about presets, really. But I think I'd rather just keep it at that. So yeah, if you want to have the presets, just copy what I'm doing in the tutorials. I mean, you say you got TH3 because of me, so I'm guessing you watched the tutorials. So what more you want? Just getting the presets on top of that? Come come on, just I'll try to say this in the most respectful way as possible. Just please, don't cut corners. Really go through the process. I know it's frustrating, but at the end of the line, it's so much more rewarding than cutting the corner and just using what someone else made. And with that, let's end this video. I hope you liked it. I'm sorry, it was just really 2 questions I was talking about. So yeah, subscribe, leave a comment below, and I shall see you next time.